Hello, this is the Muffin Man, and welcome back to the Muffin Man Express. Today we are doing another deck, and the deck we are doing, as we can see, is Japan, or rather the Japanese Defense Force, so the JDF. So, interesting fact, the current military in Japan, by law, cannot call itself military. Interesting stuff. They can't call their soldiers, etc., etc. It's pretty interesting as to how the Japanese reformed their entire military doctrine to fit their economical needs instead of to fit their military needs. But, you know, as of recent times, there's been some new sanctions that are giving the military, well, more oomph and more recognized, being more recognized, increasing the reservists. I think last time I checked, Japanese Defense Force had between around 200,000 active members. I'm guessing here because I read it forever ago, so yeah, it's 200,000 and it shouldn't be anymore, but I'm not sure what it is today. So there's some facts that I read up on about it. So anyways, let's get into the meat of this video, and the meat of this video is going to be reviewing the units, why I chose them, and why I think the Japanese deck is a workable deck, and why there's advantages to it that make it better than the Blue Dragon deck alone. So, the Hanbu-Han is a command unit. It's in a helicopter. I get it because helicopters are fast. And infantry don't die to smirches or cluster rocket arty, because they're not vehicles. So I got a fob. Now, I do have to say I really don't like the cargos. They're not particularly fast off-road or anything, and they don't have too much to offer. So there's that. But I like the KV-107s. They're good enough. Now, we're going to get into some preferences here. Now, then, I prefer the Nana San Shiki CV over others who would buy the Hachi ni Shiki CV, because the Hachi ni Shiki CV does not have the capability of being amphibious, and that's a big letdown, because in some maps you can hide your CV in rivers and dips, and you need that amphibious. So it's always a nice option to have it, and it's 70 off-road, so that isn't too bad. And it's not a fast-moving, but you don't need it to be fast-moving. It would be nice. You could get away faster from the oncoming onslaught of tanks and infantry or jets, just being that bit faster, but it isn't really needed. So there's that. So now on to the more interesting stuff. Now, as of this new DLC, which is the second DLC, Japan only got one unit, and you'll see it in a minute. It's actually in this section. So, the Kutai 90, they're good, they're elite, they're not great though. I can't say they're amazing, but they're good infantry. They're good for what they do, and I usually include them in my first push. So, on to my True Mat. True Mats, you always want, infantry-based ATGMs whenever possible. And there's that. And now we're getting into the meat of my army currently, which is the Buntai 90, the Sayuju. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce that, but the Buntai 90, they're great. They got a Gustav, they got decent fire rate. Are they gonna take on other infantry and kill them outright? Not really. But are they going to kill tanks while keeping the other infantry busy? Definitely. So, there's that. And with it, I got the Hachi Kayushiki IFE. Now, up until the second DLC, which includes the Martyr 2, this was the best IFE in the game. Now, you may be asking why. Because of its accuracy, because of its stabilizer, because its AP power and its armor, and how little it costs at the same time. The Bushmaster, it was up there. It's up there with the Hachi Kayushiki, but it costs way too much for what it does. It has too many missiles, etc., etc. But you know what? You need your missiles on your Bradleys, because, you know, America does not have any really good, you know, ground-based ATGMs. So anyways, now another card of Buntai. Now, you may be wondering, what's this hat? What's this? Oh! The Kairoko WAP. The WAP APC. Anyways, great armored vehicle. It's fast moving, 150 kilometers per hour on road, 100 off-road, 2 frontal armor, one side, and a Mark 19 on it. What does this mean? You got this means, this is like, to me, this is the new LAV-25. In air-land battle, the LAV-25 was the classic, overpowered fast transport for infantry. Now there is no other vehicle that even comes close to the speed and has a Mark 19, aside from recon units. Nothing comes close to this. And you can get them in mass. In fact, I could take out the Hachi Kayushiki and replace it with this and just have all these around. You know, I'm personally thinking of saying, screw the Kutai 90. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'll test it out. Screw the Kutai 90. I'm getting myself another one of these. Because they're just so good. You don't need your elite infantry anymore if you got this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. It is really good. Really cheap. And really good. So now we're going to go on to the Stingers. Now, here's a mistake that I've been meaning to change in my deck. I did not mean to be on the Stinger. It's good. In air-land battle, it was great. But times have changed. And the SAM is just better. It's just better. So we're getting that instead. So there we go. Now some other things to look at. I could instead get this, which wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? Yes, it would, because you don't get HE power. The Haduran, I don't like them, and the reason why I don't get them is because they don't have HE power. If they had HE power, I would buy them. Regardless, I would buy them. But they don't. However, their stats, the other stats, do not make up for, you know, the lack of HE. So, they're shock infantry, yeah. But nothing, the fire rates are shitty. The guns aren't that great. So, we'll leave that. So, on to the support. Now, you'll notice we don't have a lot of SAM type units. In fact, we only have one. That one is a Hawk. It's not bad. It's not really great, though, at all. I mean, this is like mediocre. That's what I would call this unit. The Kairu Hawk, I hate them. I've hated them since Airland Battle. America's been stuck with them since Airland Battle. Many of its allies. And I've just come to not want to use this thing at all. At all. It'll work. Yes, I can more than make it work and kill shit with it. But I find it easier to not waste my micro on the Kaiju Hawk and to just put all my micro into my other more capable AA pieces. So anyways, I'm just looking at things for a moment, don't mind me. What's this? Oh, so dinky. Anyways, so on to my first AA piece. the gun tank. And here's where you're going to start seeing a lot of influences from both U.S., United States technologies and German technologies. I would like to know the history behind them purchasing and, licensing, the building of these things. And I would have to say they're really cool. I enjoy how it's called Bloody Gun Tank. I'm not sure if it's actually called that in real life. It could be a nickname the Japanese defense soldiers give it. Anyways, so the gun tank. Let's get into the stats. 28 range on helicopters. So that's what you need for any reliable gun AA that you're going to be throwing against in a armored push. Like when you're pushing with an armored push, you're going to want a gun tank. It's your old and faithful. If your other AA pieces fail, you can fall back on the good old gun tank. It's good at taking planes out too. 55 accuracy, 35 stabilizer. You get the ideas. And its autonomy, I would have to say a common theme in Japan's mechanized and armored units is a low autonomy. And we'll see more examples of this very shortly. So the Tan-Sam short arrow, really good. 3,325 meters. Airplanes, it's only 2,600 meters with 40% accuracy and 5 HE power, 20-second reload. So it's really fast on the road. However, it isn't so great off-road. However, it also has a great autonomy. It's a good vehicle. It's unarmored, but you can deal with that. It's fast enough off-road to get away from any incoming artillery if you micro it enough. It has a lot of missiles, 8 missiles. That is a lot. And I've killed all sorts of things with it. The only thing I would say that's better than the Tan-Sam short arrow in its area of expertise is the... what'd you call it? The Chaparral. That's it. The Chaparral. They have 12 missiles. They have a better accuracy and around the same range. So, there's that. It's a good unit. I get 8 of them because Tan-Sams are targeted a lot. And that's that. So now on to the Kinsam closed arrow. Ooh, it's a beauty. It is a beauty. It's basically an Avenger, just as the Tan-Sam is basically a Chaparral. And we see some of the similarities in American doctrines that are being borrowed. So anyways, it's really good. 70% accuracy, 70% stabilizer. That means on the move, it'll have a 50% chance to hit. Approximately. I'm not actually doing the math. I'm doing some guesswork here. The range for the helicopters and airplanes isn't great, but now we're going to look down to the speed. 80 kilometers per hour. That's the key to the closed arrow. It's fast. It is a zippy little AA piece that gets up on the enemy. So you got your smoke, you're moving up, and then out of the smoke comes the closed arrows, and all the Mi-28s, shit their pants as they get shot in the face flawlessly. That's what these are great for. They're just as you would think of the short arrow as a rapier, the gun tank as a long sword, you would think of the closed arrow as a long dagger. So that's what I'd think of the closed arrow. It does the dirty work, it gets in there, and it keeps you going. So, now, on to some more interesting choices. Mortars. What do I have to say about them? Mortars are cheap. Mortars shoot fast. Mortars get out of the way fast. And mortars do the job I want them to. So that's why I get them. And now, onto the 75 MSSR. So, it's really good. That's all I have to say about it. It's a really good rocket battery. It's extremely accurate. It's Lars 2 accurate, which is pretty crazy seeing it's made in 75. And I have not much, you know, not many bad things to say about it. It's 50 points. If it had around 36 rockets, they'd probably jump up the price like 20 points, because they're usually they got funny ways of pricing things. But yeah, it's good. So now we're going to go on to the more sexy, the more dubious, the more beautiful tank section. So we're going to start from the bottom up. So, things I have to say about Japanese tanks. You either get the amazing variants. It's like the haves and have-nots when it comes to armor in Japan. Yeah, it's two extremes in one deck, and there is no middle ground. That's the best way to describe it. So look at this. 50 points for this tank, right? Its accuracy is amazing. Its stabilizer is amazing. Its AP power, it's okay. You can work with it. Its autonomy is shit, and that's another example of the theme of low autonomy across the board for Japan. Low off-road speed, but you can deal with it, and you know, that. Look at its armor. It is atrocious. It is French atrocious. In fact, I think this is worse than what France could ever do for itself. 6 front armor, 3 side armor, 1 back, 1 top. Mind you, Germany's Marder II has more armor than this 50-point tank, and it costs less. That is insane. That is insane. Right now, the Marder II is an OP vehicle, and at some point, when I do a review of that deck, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, I'll share with you why it's overpowered, and I don't even think I need to explain to you why it's overpowered, and we'll see later someday. But anyways, this tank, it does its job. That's all I have to say about it. I don't like it. I don't love it. I'd rather not have to use it, but I have to because the alternatives aren't all too beautiful. So, the Nanayan Shiki A. 45 accuracy, 35 stabilizer. Now, I'm thinking I should get this instead, and you know what, I'll try. I only recently made this deck, so I'm still experimenting a little. So, why am I getting this, you're asking, instead of the Shiki E? Well, the reason why I'm getting this instead is because lots of the stats are the same. The only difference is the gun. The only difference is the gun. I'm not going to bother with buying a 50-point tank that's just going to die. So, I'll leave it at that. And we're going to go on to the next tank, which is the Nanayan Shiki G. Now, there's a lot of things to like about this. No other tank has a Mark 19 or equivalent on it. No other tank. And the Nanayan Shiki G does. Now, in real life, many Abrams, I'm not sure about Leopards, but there's been many tanks across the world that have had grenade launchers on them. In real life. But this is war games, so apparently only Japan thought to put a grenade launcher on their tank. So anyways, as we can see, they seem to think, well, this tank's a bit shitty, let's slap some ERA blocks on it. So we got a armor module here. I'm not sure if it's ERA blocks, I don't think so. And then, of course, you got the explosive blocks right there. And, let's see, skirts? Yes, and they got skirts and some other things. It's a kit up. That's what it is. It's a kit. They slapped a kit on there to say, well, this will do something for a few years. So, let's get into the stats. It's slower than its predecessors. Same autonomy. Not much to like about that. But now we're going to look at the gun. Now, 10 rounds a minute. I'm pretty sure this tank fires faster than that. I don't know why. Is it because it has an autoloader? Maybe. I think so. but I think it shoots faster than what is advertised here. Perhaps because of reload speed, but that's what I'm thinking. Anyways, accuracy 65, 55, and it has AP power of 15. A lot to like about that cannon. And then the Mark 19, of course, is just a beast, so we'll leave it at that. It's a good tank, but it dies a lot. Not a lot of armor on it. Do I get good use out of it, and am I able to micro it correctly to use it for what it's supposed to be used for? Yes, absolutely I do. But I gotta put a bunch of these babies in front of this to maybe give this a chance of living, and that's a maybe. So now, oh, hold on to your seats, boys and girls. Mmm. 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 Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a sexy tank. Now, why? Excuse me. Why is it sexy to me? Because it looks like some little girls. Like like if the Abrams was like a John Deere, not a John Deere tractor, but if the Abrams was a good Ford truck that, you know, a guy got, then his wife would dream of getting the Caillou Marushiki because it's a little hot sports car. Something to that effect. That's what I'm trying to get at. But anyways, let's look at these stats. 170 points. 170 points. Is it worth the cost? Well, I think so. And we'll get into that. 70 accuracy, 65 stabilizer, 22 AP power, 12 rounds a minute. The only other tank in this game at this level of heaviness that has this fire rate is the Leclerc, people. That is insane. It really is. Now, here are some big disadvantages that make this tank way worse than the Leclerc. Way worse. Is it still a good tank? Yes. I'll buy the Caillou Marushiki any time of the day. But it is worse than the Leclerc. So, 20 front armor. 9 side, 3 back, 3 top. You know, the average. But the autonomy. The autonomy kills it. It's a big killer on what is otherwise an amazing tank. And you got 70 kilometers overland. So, now let's look into the availability and why this might actually be a better tank in that sense than the Leclerc. 3. You can get 2 cards of 3. 2 cards of 3 of 12 rounds per minute, 22 AP guns with a 20 frontal armor rating. That is insane. You know how insane that is? That is like having a bunch of Leopard 2A5s rolling across the field. The only difference is that you get 1 or 2 less armor. That's the only difference. Only difference. As to where you can only get 1 card of challengers and maybe get 2 challengers on the battlefield, you can get 6 Caillou Marushikis with good armor and a good gun. Like a really good gun. That is a really good gun. And the other NATO heavies, aside from the Leclerc, have nothing on this tank. Nothing. If it was an international deck, I'd be using this tank. So, yes. Now on to other things. So, J-Soft Rangers. The big disadvantage, the big beef I have against Japan, it doesn't have a lot of infantry recon. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Otherwise, the recon infantry, it's good. It's good. It's not amazing. It's good. So we'll leave it at that. I got one in a Humvee, and I got one in a KV-107, so I can do some airborne missions with them. So we'll get on to the Ninja. Now this is a must-have. This is an amazing piece of work right here. You can call it out as a reaction unit, and it'll double as recon and tell you, like, it's great. Like, if you're getting attacked in your base, call out a ninja. Just call out a ninja. You'll shoot down the helicopters, you'll spot the infantry, so your tanks, autocannon vehicles, whatever you have can shoot at them. And on top of that, it has good stealth, exceptional optics. Now, many of times I'm just getting into using ninjas as exploitive recon, as in I go behind enemy lines with it, and it works flawlessly. It doesn't work amazing, like you will get spotted with ninja, but before you get spotted, before that ninja's spotted, you will spot so much shit. It just works out. It does work out, unless the enemy will need like an iron tight defense to stop this thing, because usually they won't spot it. If they don't have recon, they have no chance in hell of spotting it. But otherwise, yeah, there's that. Ninja, amazing, get it. So now we're going to get onto the Hachi Nanashikis. Now, what I think about it. It's okay. I'll buy it. I'll use it. It isn't amazing, but it does its job, and I have nothing wrong with it. 100 kilometers over land, so it'll keep up with the new DLC APCs that have Mark 19s on them. They'll keep right up with them. And the autonomy is great. Nothing else in the Japanese arsenal has autonomy like that. That's a mechanized vehicle like that. It's pretty weird. But yeah, so I got 2 cards of them because I was like, I have nothing else to get. Nothing else to get. So I just got 2 cards of that. So vehicles. I got the Chumat because it fills slot. No, seriously, because it fills a slot. That's about it. The AHIS. Good helicopter. Not much else to say about it. It's 80 points. It's a call out. It's a reactionary unit. Use it when you can. Now we're going to get into some more interesting points. The Japanese Air Force. Let's get into our interceptors first. The F-15J. It is good. 40% ECM. 1,000 kilometers an hour. Problems. The radar missiles are not fire and forget. And that's about it. I would say that ECM is a bit of a problem compared to more high tier jets, but it isn't too much to worry about. It's got a great time over target rating, so you know, if you need a good CAS or a CAP, you know, combat air patrol, that F-15 will do it for you. It'll do the job. So let's get on to our other interceptor, which is really interesting, really. 4 Sparrows and 8 340 kilogram bombs. 900 kilometers an hour, 20% ECM. 75 seconds time over target. What I have to say about this is a toy. This is what this really is. It's something you call out when you want to, you know, try it out. When you want to, you know, see what it can do. See its potential. I haven't even bought this yet, which is unfortunate. I'm really going to have to do that at some point. Perhaps during one of my new videos where I'll play Japan, I'll buy one of these and try to use it. But other than that, it's not a bad plane, and it's something you may as well buy. If you don't want to buy that, then just get this napalm bomber is what I would recommend. So anyways, on to my last interceptor. 5 starfighters with infrared missiles, 10% ECM, 750 kilometers an hour. What I have to say about it, last resort. That's all I gotta say about it. So now on to one of my favorites, the F1. I do like this plane. The ECM's a bit lacking, but everything else about it I like. You can get them 3 hardened, which is great, or you could get them 4 rookie, which isn't so great. I'd recommend the 3 hardened. You got 2 laser guided HE bombs. What is that? really. It's basically a paveway, a J-dam. That's what that basically is, at least in its effects. In real life, it might absolutely be different in many different ways, but it's good. I have nothing bad to say about it. I've killed many tanks with this, and Tin God wants me to play. So, without further ado, what we have learned. Japan has amazing IFVs, has amazing APCs, has amazing tanks. Infantry's lacking, but it's made up by its vehicles. Its recon's good, but its helicopter recon's one of the best in the game. And really, it's a goodie. It's an all-around good deck, and I recommend you make one. So, Muffin Man